Washington, D.C. with SiriusXM's POTUS, The Laura Coates Show, The Michael Smerconish Program, The Briefing with Steve Scully, The Dan Abrams Show, The Julie Mason Show, and more. Your preset for politics is SiriusXM's POTUS. To hear SiriusXM's POTUS, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
Amazing moments happen so much at SiriusXM. We want you to see them. SiriusXM Video lets you watch your favorite SiriusXM shows on the SiriusXM app. Groundbreaking interviews, amazing in-show moments, behind-the-scenes footage, live performances, all come to life in a way you only imagined before. Plus, you can create your own personalized Pandora station based on the artists you love. And hear over 100 extra channels filled with ad-free music for every mood or occasion. Get your first 6 months of our Platinum plan for only $8.33 per month, plus fees and taxes. Just call 844-711-8800 to take advantage of this amazing offer.
Bobby Brown,
Johnny Gill,
Ralph Tresvant,
and Belle Biv DeVoe
all have one thing in common. New Edition.
rediscover the boy band that defined a generation.
Their hits from the beginning
And massive solo successes.
New Edition Radio.
Throughout Black Music Month in the SiriusXM app. Now, for a limited time on Channel 79.
Your favorite emerging and legendary comedians without all the dirty stuff. That's Pure Comedy, SiriusXM 98. Or find us anytime using the SiriusXM app. To hear Pure Comedy, activate your radio by calling 844-711-8800 or visit SiriusXM.com/go.
There you go now.
I think I'm recording.
Oh, let's see. Let's see. Let's see.
If you've been thinking about buying a home, you need to be in the zone, the home buying zone. You need a game plan to win in this great real estate market. The Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage has all your bases covered. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, purchasing your dream home, refinancing, consolidating debt, or even considering a reverse mortgage, contact the Big C team at Equity Zone Mortgage today. They have the lowest closing costs and they'll close your loan on time, guaranteed, or they'll pay your first mortgage payment. And they even have a 3.5% purchase down payment grant that can get you into a home with little money out of your pocket. It doesn't get more clutch than that, folks. Score big on the biggest purchase of your life. Call Equity Zone Mortgage today at 1-800-772-8624. That's 1-800-772-8624. Or apply online at equityzonemortgage.com and tell them Big C sent you as heard on the Big C Sports Podcast. Number 018-468.
Grando Deportes! Grando Deportes! Bonjour! Vidi Vidi Vici! Let's get ready to rumble! Welcome to the show. My name is Charlton of Big C Sports. This is Big C Sports coming to you worldwide on the Big C Sports Network, on the Double One Network in the United States of America. And Big C Sports has been voted the #1 sports show in the universe, according to me and people who love the universe and reparations now, reparations forever. I love they got my new platform. I got my platform fixed today. You know, may lightning, what they say, may lightning strike. Because my platform was jacked up yesterday, and I guess it got hit by lightning. Be careful what you ask for. I hope it was hit by the winning lotto tickets, may lightning. I said by the winning lotto tickets, may lightning strike. I'm trying to figure it out, folks. If you don't know me by now, if you don't know me, you will never know me. Ooh, we want the real teddy pretty grass. Also, Simply Red sing that tone too. I'm trying to incorporate it into a new Reparations song. Sing it with me. Do the best you can. It's called If You Don't Know Reparations by Now. If you don't know reparations, you will never, ever know me. Ooh, we want the real reparations. I'm trying to have fun. Oh God, I had a good old friend of mine. We were talking about reparations, and he said, "Damn, would you believe the Assembly passed reparations? I said, yeah, I've been telling you about that for about 5 years. He said, yeah, but I didn't believe it till now. I said, that's why you're not getting your money. There's a brother by the name of Marvell. He said when he tried to talk to people about, they run a Blog Talk Radio, One Gun, he and Tim, and he said he talked to people about reparations, and they want to tell him, they want to argue with him and tell him how it's not going to happen. And he said, well, how about you just sign an affidavit that I get your money when it happens? You know, they say he must be out of his bargain mind. You know, Spock in Star Trek, you must be out of your bargain mind. See, those are people, they don't want to believe in nothing until it happens, and then it happens. Can you believe that? There are people like that. But anyway, today's show on a beautiful June 13th. If you don't know me by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. Today's show is sponsored by your Northern California Cadillac dealers, home of the all-new Cadillac Escalade, this standard of the world. When you go by and test drive yours, tell them sit you where the good Lord split you. And hopefully the good Lord didn't split you too wide, because a lot of people got a wide stance. If you don't know reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. Oh, Lord, they should make that a clause. If you don't believe in it now, you don't get no money. Now they got a lot of people wanting to get on the bus. God, life is funny. I want to say that beautiful June the 13th, 2024, today's show, I said it's sponsored by your California reparations dealer. Reparations now, reparations forever. I guarantee you're going to start seeing more commercials on reparations. Like a cow gone, take me away. You're going to start seeing more commercials on reparations. And you heard it first on Big C Sports Podcast. How do I know? Because I am the press. I didn't say the press. I didn't say full court press. I am the press. Like I get my shirts pressed at the cleaner. If that makes sense to you. But there are times when people only want to believe something after they see it. That means they have no faith. If you don't have faith, why would God want to reward you with anything if you don't have faith? You got to have faith. And there's a song about that too. But I was singing, and I'm trying to get a reparations song, and I said, well, Big C, I was talking to myself like I normally do, because nobody else listens to me. Sometimes nobody listens to me. So I learned to talk to myself. I have some interesting conversations too. Oh, if you don't know reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. I wish Teddy was still around. He could have sang the reparations song, and people would have bought it. Would have sold out. You can follow Big C Sports Podcast on 29 podcast applications all over the universe. If that makes sense to you, I always produce the show. I direct the topics. I broadcast all the shows. I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. We could all use more. If you don't know reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. I think that's funny. It's like somebody that they catch the bus to go to school. And I used to catch the bus to go to school when I was in high school. And we had a school bus driver by the name of Mrs. Bump. Wonderful lady. She was a Caucasian lady, but she was so nice to me and my brothers. And she told my mother one time, if he doesn't get out here on time, then he's going to be walking to school. But she laughed about it. She said, why does he take so long to get ready? And I said, I was saying, if you don't know reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. People thought I was crazy. Hey, ho! When Teddy hit that note, try with me. You got to know some Teddy Pendergrass. Go. If you don't know reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, hey, ho! You will never ever get your check. I love that, man. I don't know what was in that coffee I had, but I do all the sound effects based on the platform provided by the agency. Hey! Oh! We can all use more laughter in our lives. And then the commercials are done. The stats are provided. I even do the storytelling. And then I do the play-by-play. Oh, my good. Jaylen Brown for 3. Yes! Get the hole in your life. Jason Tatum for 3. Yes! Get the hole in your life. Man, Luka Doncic, I know he got fouled out last night in the game, but it's his fault because you can't argue with the officials on every play. If he would get his butt back on defense, that would stop creating 5-on-4 fast breaks for the Boston Celtics. They love when Luka argues with the officials. They love it because it's not going to change the call. All it does is create a 5-on-4 fast break. If Luka Doncic doesn't know how to play defense, by now, if you don't know how to play defense, you're going to get your butt swept. You can yell all you want to. If you don't get back on defense, you're leaving your guys out there on their own, and you're going to cause them to fail. You got to play defense. Boston's a better team anyway. I said they win in 6 games. I think it's going to be a sweep now because Kristaps Porzingis, he couldn't get along with Luka Doncic, so they said, Kristaps, you got to go. And they kept Luka. Luka's a great player, but he has a bad attitude. He hasn't learned to be like a wily veteran yet. When you become the wily veterans, those savvy guys, they know when to shut up. And he hasn't learned when to shut up yet. And obviously, he was yelling at Jason Kidd last night. You better challenge that, blah, 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 blah. And when he took a charge, and I thought he was right, but they called him for a foul. But at the same time, when you yell every single play, it's like the boy who cried wolf. I got a story. You want to hear it? If you're gonna cry wolf every play, if you cry wolf, you never ever gonna get your call. Oh my God! Don't ever let a man think he's funny. Dave Chappelle, what? Yeah, Dave Chappelle, who? I'm not no Dave Chappelle. But in my mind, I am. Oh, Lord have mercy. But at the same time, I just want to say I wish everybody the best when it comes to NBA basketball. I do think they're going to be a sweep down in Texas. And at the same time, the show's uploaded to 29 podcast applications all over the universe. And streaming on 4 TV platforms: Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon Fire TV. And then I never miss a show. I'm telling you, it's uploaded to 29 podcast platforms out of New York City. And then number 10, I never miss a show. You want to crown him? Crown him! The late Dennis Green, he said, you want to crown Boston, crown. You want to crown him? Crown him! They don't want to crown him right now. You still got to win. It's the best. It's the first team to get the 4 wins, not the first team to get the 3 wins. But now, if someone asks a question to one of the Boston Celtics players, and the reporter said, "Excuse me, Mr. Celtic," he said, "Would you rather win the series in Boston, or would you rather win in Dallas?" He said, "What?" He pulled a Russell Westbrook when Russell Westbrook was asking the question. He said, "What?" No, you want to win it when you can. I remember I remember Golden State. They were going for a 3-peat. Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson got injured. Kevin Durant pulled his Achilles against Toronto, and then Klay Thompson tore his ACL in the same game. I'm not talking about practice. I'm talking about the game. Not practice. I'm talking about the game. So if a player has a chance to win it now, they couldn't care less about going back home and winning in front of their home crowd, because Golden State was going to beat Toronto until Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson got injured. They ended up losing in Game 6 at the Coliseum in Oakland, at the Oracle Arena in Oakland. I don't think that, I'm not saying that could happen to anybody, but players have been known to be injured. And if you're Boston, you don't want to mess around down in Texas trying to, let's just throw this game. They're not going to try to throw this game. They're going to try to win it on Friday night. And then the people down in Texas, do they really want to get on a chartered flight and fly up into Boston and lose game 5? Because they haven't even scored 100 points in any game. I think last night they scored 99. That's the most points they scored, and Luka fouled out of the game because he doesn't know how to play defense. He thinks they're going to call a foul every time he cusses out a referee. And maybe it's because he's from a different country. You know, the foreigners come here and they think they can run things. He must have thought he was getting part of that Homestead Act. Like Miss Sanchez. But if you're going to come here, you're going to run your mouth. Those officials, they get rated too. And you know they have pride too. And when you get in somebody's face, you say, you blibbity blub blub, you blibbity blub blub, that's a blibbity blub foul. Are you out of your mind? And the referees, they say, I'll show you. And they send his butt to the bench with 6 fouls. You cannot show up an official more than you think you can. You got to get your butt back on defense. He's cost them at least 5 on 4 fast breaks. At least 5, I counted. And I didn't see the whole game. But the times I saw him complaining about a foul or not being given a foul called, then Boston's off to the races. A 5 on 4 fast break because Luka won't play defense. He's not the best player in the NBA. The best players use their mind. You can watch when Magic Johnson was playing back in the day. Magic Johnson is probably the best player ever played NBA basketball. In the NBA playoffs and the finals, he played every position. Every one. And he learned how to use his savviness, his court savviness, and get with the officials and get on their good side. So maybe they do turn a blind eye. But you can't get in somebody, you blibbity blub blub, you blibbity blub blub, you wasn't my ref. You can't do that in curry favor. Hey, I like that curry favor. In fact, I like curry flavoring. I love everything curry. If you don't like curry, may lightning strike. If you don't know you like reparations, but now if you don't like reparations, you will never ever get your check. I'm gonna get that. I'm gonna create that. In fact, I just did. I don't need someone's permission to go to a studio and find those Faustian contracts. Faustian contracts? Yeah, Google it. I don't have to sign those contracts. Be dropping like flies when they say the gig is up. Yeah, I know some people don't believe in that too. I do believe in gematria. That's my story. I'm sticking with it. But I do want to say, I never missed a show with Big C Sports Podcast, even in some days where there's joy, pain, sunshine, and rain. I never missed a day, and I love that about being able to do a show because I'm responsible for it, and I want to be responsible enough to do it. And you know what they say: no matter what, joy, pain, sunshine, and lightning strike. If you don't know about reparations, but no, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. A fool tried to argue with me about why we don't deserve reparations, and he's black. He said, well, let me explain to you, Big C, why we don't deserve no reparations. I said, don't explain nothing to me. Just sign an affidavit that when it comes, you don't get your check. In fact, I said it. He said, Big C, let me explain to you why we don't deserve no reparations. I said, you don't have to explain nothing to me. Just sign an affidavit that shows if you don't know about reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. He looked at me like I was crazy. He said, well, if they get the check, I'll take it. As I say, if you don't know me by now, you will never, ever, ever get your check. Ooh. Listen to this story coming up on Bruce's Beach. We'll get into some sports also. But listen about reparations and eminent domain. Listen to this.
Welcome to Business of Being Black with Tammy Mack. I'm Tammy Mack on Fox Soul. In 1912, Willa and Charles Bruce created Bruce's Lodge, also known as Bruce's Beach in Manhattan Beach, California. It was a place where black tourists could go to avoid harassment. Well, in 1924, their land was seized by local officials who said they needed it for a public park, only to leave it undeveloped for 3 decades. Well, 6 months ago, Los Angeles County returned the property to Willa and Charles's great-grandsons, who sold it back to the county last month for $20 million.
So yes, reparations is possible, and it's going to happen again. In fact, it's going to happen on a wide scale because it's about the vote. It's not about somebody's opinion. And that's what I love about doing Big C Sports Podcast. As I always say, a mind is a tougher thing to waste. I want to also make sure I pay homage to the Veterans Crisis Hotline. They really are experienced. helping veterans and their loved ones get help. You know anybody going through issues, pick up the phone, call 800-273-8255. That's 800-273-8255. Or you can text 838-255. That's 838-255. If you're online, simply go to veteranscrisisline.net. That's veteranscrisisline.net. And when you do, you want to give it some praise, because we all need somebody to lean on. And it's so good when somebody's leaning back and really do a love giving out that Veterans Crisis Hotline. Also want to say thank you to Xfinity, Comcast TV, and Comcast Spotlight Effect TV for presenting Big C Sports. As I always say, Big C Sports to the universe. May lightning strike. I love today's show. I mean, it's just a great day. I feel so good. I got a song. Would you like to hear it? If you don't know reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. No, you won't. Hey, hey, ho, ho, ho. That's the great late Teddy Pendergrass. That's so funny. Oh my God. I just want to say to a good friend of mine, I'm not going to get up his last name, but he told me today that he's dealing with a brother who fell ill and he's in the hospital and hoping for a good recovery. And I just offer thoughts and prayers to you. I'm not going to mention your name because of HIPAA violations, and you didn't ask me to tell the name. But I do know, I'm just offering thoughts and prayers. We all, the late Vin Scully said, we all day to day. And we got to be grateful that the good Lord allowed us to wake up. And I just appreciate that. And I love feeling healthy, wealthy, and wise. And oh my God, I just want to say I hope that everything's great with this family. You know, I'm going to do something because I'm so focused on reparations. I also believe in touchdown, homer, 3-point play. Oh man, Willie, he's going all the way. And I love talking sports. I love talking reparations. I love collard greens. And there's nothing that tastes better than a lemon meringue pie. If you don't like lemon meringue pie, if you don't like lemon meringue pie, you will never ever know the best thing in the universe, the best taste in the universe. All you need was some Teddy with it. If that makes sense to you. Man, I don't even know where I am today. I feel like I'm on cloud 99, but I gotta say something because I wanna play a speech that happened with California Senator Stephen Bradford. I'm going to get into Luka not playing defense. Last night, the NBA allowed Luka Doncic to be fouled out of an NBA Finals game. What did Larry Bird say? He said, "You think they came here to watch you call fouls? I watched me drop 30 points." And officials got to know that. But there's sometimes when people come from a foreign country, they don't understand detente. It depends on them being able to keep their mouth shut and not cuss people out. Some people don't play that. But I want you to listen to something by California Senator Stephen Bradford. Also Chris Lodges and a lady in a red dress. Listen to it. You thought Luka was thrown out of the game. I tell you who should have been thrown out of the game.
The cost of the harms make this minuscule based on the debt and harm that was created through slavery.
Economists, consultants from the task force reported the total amount could be as much as $800 billion. It is fundamentally unfair to force these people to pay for this, and because of that, I will be opposing today.
Yeah, I just want to thank our Republican colleagues for coming to committee today. After boycotting the previous committee, it's really important to know on the record what we oppose reparations, so I want to thank them for doing so.
We were at every single moment of every single hearing. The task force did not, and the comments of the task force did not from the descendants. That is what the state stole from us. Now it's up to this legislature to decide what the bill is, but your comments are incorrect.
May lightning strike! If you don't know reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. I love it. I love things that are going on in life right now. I'm just having so much fun. When I've been around erudite people, the California State Assembly, this week, I think it was on Tuesday, and I really appreciate the bills 1331, 1403, and then 1050, and it's about funding for reparations, qualifications for reparations, and then eminent domain property is being returned. There's the Reparations Task Force, over 1,065 pages produced, and I really do appreciate the fact that we have educated people talking about it. And I want to make sure the Honorable Robert Rivas, he was the speaker, the Assembly speaker. It was on Tuesday, June 11th, 2024, and there was a lady in a red dress. It was like she came for a red wedding. You ever go to a red wedding? What's a red wedding, Big Z? Google what a red wedding is. It doesn't turn out too well. If you don't know reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. Oh man, I'm over the top. I gotta just say, I want to play one more striking thing before I get into some sports, because I got a commercial to do. I got a lot of things to do. I got to catch up on a lot of things today. But I want you to hear from one of the greatest speakers in the history that ever talked about doing the right thing.
Martin Luther King, we had a conversation a couple days ago about handouts and how these right-wing memes, these Republican memes, have infiltrated the Democratic debate to suggest that, ending welfare as we know it, all those kind of things are somehow, great and noble things, when we're not dealing with the underlying problem, which is that there's no economic opportunity there because of insane trade policies and because of Reaganomics. And Martin Luther King spoke to this. Jim and Shane, this is clip number 4. Martin Luther King spoke to this sometime back in the early 60s. And I thought this was a really interesting quote. Here he is.
With the problem, at the very same time that America refused to give the Negro any land,
Miss Sanchez,
through an act of Congress, our government was giving away millions of acres of land.
Miss Sanchez,
in the West and the Midwest.
Mr. Sanchez, listen.
It meant that it was willing to undergird its white peasants from Europe with an economic floor. But not only did they give the land, they built land-grant colleges with government money to teach them how to farm. Not only that, they provided county agents to further their expertise in farming. Not only that, they provided low interest rates in order that they could mechanize their farms. Not only that, today many of these people are receiving millions of dollars in federal subsidies not to farm, and they are the very people telling the black man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps.
Mr. Sanchez, listen up.
This is what we are faced with, and this is a reality. Now, when we come to Washington, in this campaign, we are coming to get our check.
From his speech, The Two Nations of Black America. And it's absolutely brilliant. And the next time some white person talks about, well, I pulled myself up by my bootstraps and my family did too, especially the Bundy boys. I mean, here's Martin Luther King, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., talking about how basically whites stole the West from the Indians with the complete, and didn't just steal it, murdered them, he murdered the Indians in the process, and did not give any of these benefits to African Americans for 100 years in this country.
Mr. Sanchez.
It's a strong case for reparations or some variation on it, for rebuilding our cities, for doing right after having done wrong for so many centuries.
Mr. Sanchez.
It is a very, very strong case for that. Watch more clips from our program.
May lightning strike! You gotta understand, if you don't know reparations, by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. And I want to make sure that I get that in there, because it's important. It's important that we educate people on the process of why that's so important. And now I want you to hear one more time from Mr. Sanchez and decide which side you're on.
The cost of the harms make this minuscule based on the debt and harm. Make this minuscule based on the debt and harm that was created through slavery.
Economists, consultants from the task force reported the total amount could be as much as $800 billion.
That's Ms. Sanchez.
It is fundamentally unfair to force these people to pay for this, and because of that, I will be opposing today.
Yeah, I just want to thank our Republican colleagues for coming to committee today. After boycotting the previous committee, it's really important to go on the record before we oppose reparations, so I want to thank them for doing so.
We were at every single moment of every single hearing. The task force did not, and the comments of the task force did not say that the state should pay $800 billion. The task force economists said that the state of California stole $800 billion in wealth from the descendants. That is what the state stole from us. Now it's up to this legislature to decide what the bill is, but your comments are incorrect.
Reparations now, reparations forever. I love mentioning that part because it's so important to me, and to hear how did she get a job at the state assembly, Miss Sanchez, in a red wedding. She thought she was going to a red wedding to just destroy, and I mean that sincerely. You heard Dr. King talk about reparations. You heard California Senator Stephen Bradford talk about reparations. The great Secretary of State, the inimitable Dr. Shirley Weber, which works with Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, to create the nation's first reparations task force. And then you have Mrs. Sanchez shows up in a red dress as if she's going to a red wedding, and she says, "Thank you for the civil rights marches, black people, but you don't deserve no reparations." Without civil rights marches, you think an immigrant could come to this country and ascend to the level of the state assembly? Perhaps if they have the right skin color, because that's what she matches. And that's a shame that someone without qualifications and not even factual can espouse erroneous facts, which is an oxymoron. Erroneous in facts are oxymoron, but she's an oxymoron in a red dress. And she's getting paid by the state of California, and she doesn't even know her facts. That's the scary part. Because I've studied media, and I ran the media department at my university when I was in college, and there were no TV cameras there. I thought I just saw one. That was outside of the room. When I first went to the task force hearings about a year ago, I think Fox was there, ABC was there, CBS was there. It even appeared on CNN, and Pressure Sports Media was there. But at the assembly on Tuesday, there were no TV cameras there. And that's a seminal moment when it passed the assembly. It's already passed the Senate. And now the next leg, I wonder if they're going to be TV media. But let me beg your pardon, there was TV media. Double O TV was there. She has her own economics awareness talk show called Let's Eat. You can hear it on Access Sacramento. She was there. She filmed it. Why did Double O film it, but NBC didn't show up? Why did Double O film it, but CBS didn't show up? Why did Double O film it, but ABC, they didn't show up? Fox News, they didn't show up. Double O showed up. Payout Committee for the National Black Wall Street Project has her own economics awareness talk show called Let's Eat. She was there, a black woman. Beautiful, intelligent black woman. Where about all the other media? And but Bishop Williams said before on a One Gong show, Blog Talk Radio, with the great Tim and Marvell, he said, "We are the press. We don't have to wait for other people." I've got to sing a song about it right now. If you're going to wait for other press to show up by now, you got to know that you are the press. Let me sing it. I want to sing it like Teddy would say it. If you're going to wait for other press to show up by now, if you're going to wait for other press, you got to know that you are the press. We are the press. Whether you like my song or not, we are the press. Because there are people who will not show up for a seminal moment in African American history, but let one person commit a crime, they'll be all over the news. They'll show it over and over and over and over and over again. But a seminal moment, may lightning strike! They didn't show up. I know, because I was looking for them. Well, that's my story, and I'm going to stick with it. I got to also say, I just applaud everybody involved with the California Reparations Task Force, because a mind is a terrible thing to waste. I want to pay homage to the California Reparations Task Force, because before I get into my own commercial with RDC team and then Big C Sports, you know about the NBA. I want to just say, I want to do something that's important. And oftentimes, if we don't give praise to it, I want to praise CJAC also. CJEC, Coalition for a Just and Equitable California. I want to give them praise. And I met them through Kim Mims, who produced a movie called Reparations about a year ago. But I want to say, I think I'm the only sports show in the universe that honors the California Reparations Task Force, and I love doing it. I want to give praise to the Secretary of State, the inimitable Dr. Shirley Weber. She worked with California Governor Gavin Newsom to create the task force to study reparations, first in the nation. And then, so I love giving her praise. I want to give praise. I'm telling you, it's important that we give Dr. Shirley Weber her praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Camila Moore. She's the chair. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Dr. Amy C. Brown, the vice chair. He's brilliant. I love giving him praise. He's also appeared on the Big C Sports podcast about 2 months ago. And I met him going into a restaurant. I mean, I met him many times at the task force meeting, but I also met him into a restaurant. It's called Fixins. And I saw him get out of the car. And I said, Mr. Brown. He said, Mr. Curry. And I said, well, what are you doing? He said, I'm fixing to tear up some collard greens. And I said, well, I wish you luck. I wish you luck because I just finished tearing them up too. They may have some at the bottom of the bowl. They can scrape, the bottom of the pot that they can scrape for you because I was tearing them up. I was tearing up those collard greens, but we were talking about, we went to the same restaurant. I hope we got some collard greens because I'm like a vacuum cleaner when I see some collard greens. I suck it all up. He said, Curry, are you out of your mug and mind? You look at the pot. I've been known to lick the pot of many collard green pots, and don't do it when it's hot. Hey, if you don't know about reparations, by now, if you don't know about reparations, you will never ever get your check. I'm on one today, man. I want to give praise to California Senator Stephen Bradford, the most brilliant senator in the history of the universe, because he championed reparations. He also created name, image, and likeness to help college student athletes get paid. He also crafted the Ebony Alert that helps law enforcement put the same amount of resources into finding young black children as the Amber Alert puts into finding missing white children. And he also championed reparations. You heard him talk to Miss Sanchez in the red dress about why she sold. I'm just going to say wrong. And hopefully she'll learn to read and she'll come over to the good side, because this is serious business. Imagine when people like Miss Sanchez in the red dress, they're making, and I'm so serious about this, I know I'm having fun, but they're making rules about what happens to our children. They're making rules about what happens to our children in the criminal justice system. That's why there's more black and brown people behind bars. They're making rules about what happens to our men and women in the healthcare system. That's why a lot of times people don't get the proper health care, and the life expectancy of people of color is shorter than those who are considered Caucasian that get better treatment by the healthcare system. Imagine those are the kind of people that are in the banking system when they say, your loan, Mr. Johnson, is denied. How in the hell I get a loan denied when my credit score is 700? Or you give me an approval and you give me the same rate as my Caucasian neighbor who has a 500 credit score one house over? How does that make sense to you? I worked in banking and I've seen it with my own two eyes. That's why California settled these lawsuits with these banks for discrimination. And you have people like her, I'm a third-generation immigrant and I put myself up by my own bootstraps. Or really, did you march during the Civil Rights Movement, ma'am? No. You didn't march through the Civil Rights Movement, Miss Sanchez? No. Then how did you get through the Jim Crow laws? What's Jim Crow? See, they don't even know the history of the descendants of child slavery, how we made everything possible. And when civil rights was passed, white women took those jobs as managers. That's why almost every manager you have right now is either white man or white woman. Those white ladies weren't being beat over the head by law enforcement. They were not being sprayed by water hose. They did not have the dogs by the police officers say, sick 'em! They weren't biting white kids and white women. So they were sicking them on black people, men, women, and children. So how do they advance to their corporate positions of power? That's a fact. They didn't march for it, just like Miss Sanchez. She passed the paperback test and want to vote no on everything. I don't like that. I'm just very bold about it. I want to also give Senator Bradford praise because the man is brilliant. Love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Councilmember Monica Montgomery Stepp. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to Assembly Member Reginald Jones Sawyer because he's brilliant. And I love giving him praise. There's a lot of beautiful, intelligent people that are doing the right thing, and God understands it at the same time. I want to give praise to Dr. Shell Grill. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. I want to give praise to our attorney, Lisa Holder. She's brilliant. I love giving her praise. Would you believe she's an expert in diversity, equity, and inclusion, which there's 30 of the 50 states in the United States, they're trying to destroy diversity, equity, and inclusion. For good people. You people. And how dare you have people that look like me that said they're going to vote for the woman in the red dress. And they told you when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, they said no for you people. They'll gladly sit there in a position of power and send kids of color to the criminal justice system, and they'll give white kids counseling for the same thing. A shame. I appreciate Attorney Lisa Holder. I want to give praise to her. I want to give praise to Dr. Javon Scott Lewis, professor at California, Berkeley. I love giving him praise. I want to give praise to Attorney Donald K. Tamaki. He's brilliant. As a Japanese American, his family already received reparations. I say give him all praise. I say give him praise, praise, praise. Because the mind is interpreting the ways. And that's what I love doing with Big C Sports Podcast. I know we're going to talk about some touchdown, home run, 3-point play. Old man Luka. He's arguing with the officials again? He got to get his butt back on defense. You gave Boston, from what I saw, at least 5 times. I saw a 5-on-4 fast break because he's sitting back there and he's arguing at the official while you go to Jaylen Brown with another dunk. Jason Tatum for 3. Yes, get the hole in your life. Jaylen Brown for 3. Yes. And Luka's back there arguing with the official instead of getting back on defense. That's why they get beaten. That's why they're going to get swept. I got a friend down in Texas named Mr. Gonzalez. In fact, I think he owed me $5. Now I don't bet money, but I told him that we're going to bet a bottle of wine, and he said okay. But I don't trust him to give me wine that's homemade wine. If that makes sense to you. If that makes sense, may lightning strike. I don't want no homemade wine, Mr. Gonzalez. I want some of that Robert Mondavi Reserve, the Merlot, as some people call Merlot. I'm being silly today. I gotta tell you. I gotta tell you, life is so funny. I gotta say, I know we talk about sports, and I'm going to get into some sports. Promise. Tiger Woods is out there with the links again, and I don't know if he's going to make the cut. He's at number 99 right now, at the end of the day. But I'll get into that too. But I got to get into my commercial because I had a great day today. Today is a great day. I want to say I have a commercial with the RDC team. We have a guide to protect, preserve, and transfer wealth, resource development consulting, in conjunction with the law office of Scott Thibodeau and attorney George Jones, the missing link, long-term care solutions by the book. You have solutions by the book, over 3 decades of experience, in fact 34 years of experience in helping seniors to get their benefits, Medicare and you, and taking care of tomorrow. And in California it's called Medi-Cal, other places it's called Medicaid. People got to know there's a lot of benefits to working with the RDC team. Your spouse and family can avoid the spend down for nursing home costs. Find out your options. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624, and then you can find out from the Big C team your options, if that makes sense to you. Also, we specialize to navigate and maximize long-term care benefits, protection of your assets without a spend down. The spend downs over in California. All paperwork and communication with all government agencies are handled by staff of entitlement specialists. Ongoing consulting to provide updates as necessary. Benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescription medication, and medical equipment costs, and more. Now, some people say I say this part too fast. I say too fast. I'm talking as fast as I can to get it all in. It's like in the military, they got to eat fast because they never know if they got to be called to do what the general says. But I want to say it slower for people who complain that I talk too fast. Now, there are also people who say that Big C, you talk too slow. You can't please everybody. But I'm going to do my best to please everybody. That's an oxymoron. You can't please everybody. Some people can't even please themselves. benefits covering skilled nursing facilities, prescription medications, medical equipment costs, and more. Protection of your assets! Now, this is where I really get a lot of criticism. I've heard some of my pastor friends, they said, Big C, would you mind some constructive criticism? I said, sure. They said, sometimes you talk too fast, and we don't understand what you're saying when you start talking about the asset protection. I say, well, would you want me to say it a little bit slower so you clergy can understand it? And he said, yeah, that would help. God bless you. I said, thank you. I said, protection of your assets, including your home, thereby allowing you to leave a legacy for your family. Even he had the nerve to say, Big C, I listened to your last show, and when you talk about the asset protection, say it a little bit faster, because it's selling you saying protecting your assets. I said, well, Pastor, I can't please you if I go too fast, if I go too slow. So I'm going to say you can't say the right thing to the wrong person. You can't say the wrong thing to the right person. Protecting the assets, if that makes sense to your pastors. You know you pastors need to start helping people protect their assets. Avoid the nightmare of debt brought by the government's estate recovery program. A one-time processing fee versus monthly insurance premiums for the rest of your life. What's the government? What's the estate recovery program, Big C? It's called probate. And they will come after your assets, if that makes sense to you. You got to have a will and a trust together. Had a great meeting with the client today, and he understands it now. And now he want to protect his assets, if that makes sense to you. Not only that, I'm not done yet. Asset protection or asset protection. Is that Aflac like the duck? No, Aflac is gap insurance. A duck can't protect his own assets, let alone your assets, if that makes sense to you. I'm trying to please my pastor, so my speech sounds a little bit mangled. That's what happens when you let too many people hold the steering wheel. Get your hand off my steering wheel! Protection. Insurance coverage required by law, general liability, workers' compensation, lawyers specializing in living trust, Medicaid or Medi-Cal planning for long-term care, avoid probate, life insurance, veterans benefits, aid and attendance, pre-planning and avoid the look-back period. You got to understand that. And what about fixed assets, Big C? I'm glad you asked. Your bank account, checking account, savings account, money market account, certificates of deposit, life insurance with cash values, fixed index annuities. What about variable assets, Big C? I'm glad you asked, because that's important. Things they try to come after, we can help you protect with the RDC team. Real estate, qualified money, IRAs, 401ks, and other investments. Let's say you can avoid capital gains. You buy a house for $100,000. And then in 1 year, that house appreciates to $1 million. According to some real estate brokers, they say what they got to say to make a sale, so Miss Sanchez don't come and take it away from you. That's a $900,000 capital gains. It's a lot of tax to pay. You avoid that with a trust. Over 3 decades of experience, attention business owners, find out your other options to protect what your insurance does not cover. 800-772-8624, 800-772-8624. And when you do, you want to give it some, what do you want to give it, Big C? You want to give it some praise. Because if you don't know about asset protection by now, you may never ever protect your assets. May like the strike. I'm having so much fun today, but I gotta make sure that I gotta do justice to what I do with the Big C Express podcast, because I love saying I gotta just finish out, because I gotta do the thing that's considered right. You want to always ask people who endorses them when they say do business with them. We have the endorsement of Mr. George Jones. He's the chair of the California Black Chamber of Commerce. Also, the California Black Chamber of Commerce Foundation. We do appreciate him. We have the endorsement of Mr. Leon Woods. He's also with RDC and works with many of the top lobbyists in California. We have his endorsement. We have the endorsement of Miss Cheryl Brown. She's the chair of the California Commission on Aging. You can't get much higher of an endorsement than that. Not only that, we have Mr. Ray De La Cruz. He's the CEO of Resource Development Consulting, and he had the endorsement of the CalPERS top legal mind, the late Robert Carlson. He endorsed the RDC team. Not only that, we have Mr. Alex De La Cruz. He's the founder of American Veterans Benefits, and he endorsed the RDC team. But as I say, not only that, we have Charlton Curry, co-chair of the National Black Wall Street Project and consultant for RDC, and owner of Big C Sports Podcast. I endorse the RDC team. But as I say, not only that, I'm not done yet. We have Double O. She's the payout committee for the National Black Wall Street Project and consultant for the RDC team. She has her own economics awareness talk show called Let's Eat, and you can find it on Access Sacramento. She endorses the RDC team. I say, give it all praise. Give it praise, and you can too. Well, I tell you, today's been a wonderful day for the Big C team. Not only can we sit down and talk with the clients about how important it is to have their assets protected, if that makes sense to you. So I really do appreciate that. I talked about basketball last night. Boston's probably going to sweep on Friday down in Texas, and that's just part of life. If you understand basketball, no one's ever come back from being down 3 games to none. But I got right now some scores for the 2024 U.S. Open leaderboard. The great Roy McIlroy doing his thing. He's tied at first with the great Patrick Cantlay, and they both are at 5 under. And when I look at the first round of contenders, after seeing his best friend Xander Schauffele grab his first major title at the PGA Championship, Patrick Cantlay has eyes on one of his own, kicking off the 2024 U.S. Open with a 5 under 65. The American catapulted his name to the top of the leaderboard. Not only that, only to be caught later in the day by his Ryder Cup foe, the great Roy McIlroy. Cantlay and McIlroy's matching 65. They tied the lowest score of any U.S. Open hosted at Pinehurst. Now I was a little bit perturbed when I hear that they had the lowest score, because when I was out on the golf course, I shot at 65 also. Nobody gave me $21 million. I said, man, lightning strike. They said, Big C, you shot 65? I said, yeah, I just shot 65. They said, man, congratulations, Big C. And then they said, can we see your scorecard? I said, yeah, I just shot 65. And they said, Big C, congratulations on 65, but you still got 9. You still got the back 9 to go. I said, oh. See, I said I'm not done yet. I shot at 65, but it's on the front 9. Nothing to brag about. Nothing to brag about. Hey! If you don't know about reparations, by now, if you don't know about reparations, you will never ever get your check. I love life. Life is funny, man. I'm just all beside myself. At the same time, when I think about the great Tiger Woods, it was great to see that Tiger Woods is out there trying to golf. But last I checked, Tiger Woods, I think he was about tied at 99. I want to see if I can pull up some news on the great world of golf. And if you like it, may lightning strike. I'm gonna try to pull up some live action on golf. You may be able to hear it. Get in the hole!
10 years later, after Keimer opened up with rounds of 65 in the first and second rounds, 65s, Cantlay and then McIlroy with a flawless performance in his bid to pick up that elusive 5th major.
And then I find the great Tiger Woods. He's actually tied for 88th. He's 4 over through 18, and obviously Tiger has 15 majors. He has 82 total championships, but at Pinehurst right now, the purse is $21,500,000. So whoever wins that is going to have a nice paycheck. And obviously, not everybody's into golf the way maybe the golfers are that are seeking that $21 million purse. But either way, it's going to be great golf. I would love to see the great Roy McIlroy win. He's 5 under through 18. Aberg is 4 under through 18. And obviously, Cantlay is tied at the top at 5 under with the great Roy McIlroy. So that tournament runs from today through the 16th. And all's fair in love and war. I like to say my golf analysis is in your life. Get the hole, yes. Everybody has their own thoughts on how I do my Big C Sports Podcast, and that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Everybody has their own thoughts, and I got my own thoughts, and that's what I'm going to do. But I do want to say, for everybody that had the chance to listen to me today, my show a little bit different, I really do appreciate on a lot of things that are happening in life, and I'm really happy about what happened with the California State Assembly. And it's just important. The Honorable Robert Rivas, he was so moved by the erudition of California Senator Stephen Bradford, very erudite man, that he actually had a kind of a lachrymose speech and maybe even cried a little bit when he talked about getting property back and how we were robbed for centuries, and now they have a chance to do the right thing. As long as we could remove people that are in a red dress that do not, and in my best English, do not know her history, do not know her facts, and do not understand that she got to her position in life because black people marched to the civil rights, to create civil rights. And then they come here as a foreigner and say, well, I put myself up by my own bootstraps. No, you did not. The GI Bill was given to white soldiers, not black ones. And the Homestead Act was given to white people and even white Europeans. If you're anti-reparations, Google the JUST Act, J-U-S-T Act. United States, along with Germany, United States Department of Justice. They paid reparations to descendants of Holocaust. How do you not know that, and you're going to sit there in a red dress and say, I don't believe in no reparations? The United States Justice Department does, and now they got to do it for descendants of child slavery because they're going to do the just thing. They're going to be justice. There's going to be justice. And that's why I love talking about Big C Sports Podcast. I don't just want to read your scores about who won a game. We have too many people doing that. You know, good people, you all want reparations because you want to do the right thing. I want to just appreciate so many people. Double R, who always has a lot of good things to say when he calls on the One Gung Show with the great Tim and Marvell. Really do appreciate that. I appreciate Double O always being there with media, doing her thing with economics awareness talks. Let's eat! I want to thank brother Aleem Shabazz with Crescent Sports Media, always sending me information on things that are important in the world of sports and reparations. Really do appreciate that. And then Reverend Tony Pierce, the president and CEO of National Black Wall Street Project. So many people have a lot of good things to say. And I just appreciate people who are putting pen to paper and trying to do the right thing, because the right thing is always the right thing. I have a song, and I hope you don't mind the song that I'm going to play. And I'm the press, so I'm going to do the best I can to sing a new reparations song. And I hope you like it, but I know you can't please everybody. But I'll do my best, and I'm always going to try to get better every day, day by day in every way. I'm going to get better and better and better. If you don't know about reparations by now, if you don't know reparations, you will never ever get your check. No, you won't. Woo! That was the late, great Teddy Pendergrass saying, if you don't know me by now, then you'll never ever get reparations. I mean, he said you'll never know me. I just had to add that in for fun. Well, I love praising my beautiful family on my mother's side, my great-grandparents, Mama and Pop, my grandparents, Mud Deer and Hezekiah. I can always depend on my mama, the most beautiful mama in the history of the universe. We started a Head Start program, a food program, also coaching all boys and Little League baseball team to the championship of the universe. Always saying rise and shine, the best person I ever met in my life. I love my mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. Always saying trust God, and I always will trust God. And then I love mama with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. On my father's side, my grandparents, Albert Curry and Alberta Curry, they were pastors. They had 3 churches. They owned 2 gas stations in Oakland. I remember they also owned 40 acres of land. I was 8 years old walking through the hallway at about 10 o'clock at night. I felt someone touch me on my forehead. She said, what are you doing, young man, going to get some cookies? I said, what are you doing? Grandma, it's 10 o'clock at night. You normally go to bed at 8:30. She said, what are you doing, young man, going to get some cookies? I said, cookies are baby crap to what I'm doing, Grandma. I'm going to get my reparations. But some cookies wouldn't hurt. It's been a long wait. But she says that's something about your voice. I love hearing you speak, and I really do appreciate her sewing into me. And then love my grandparents with all my heart, mind, body, and soul. My beautiful father, former United States Air Force fighter pilot, chief mechanic, always making sure that planes can fly high so we can all stay safe at night. I love my dad with all my heart, mind, body, and soul, always saying go forward. And I love my dad, appreciate my dad, what he told me. And then my beautiful brother Todd with that bombastic voice, sound like thunder and lightning when Todd would speak. A great reader, tremendous reader, always saying go forward. And always say, don't look back, because from what I can see, you don't have much backside to look back at. You don't have much asset to look back at. That's a joke, a brother joke. Love top with all my body and soul. And then my beautiful daughter Daisy, the most beautiful daughter in the history of the universe. College graduate, 2 degrees with honors, and 3.5 years from Amazing University. Said in the very first interview for Big C Sports Podcast back at Salem Media, became the first time in the history of the United States that NFL Monday Night Football started broadcasting live on the Wall Street Business Network. Normally they'd go to ESPN, but because of 2 black men in the crew, they started bringing this stuff over to what we did. They called us the Dream Team. But you know, shenanigans set up like the red wedding, the red dress that showed up, and they created junk, and it went away, but I'm still shining. Daisy, you can be anything. Always trust God. Isaiah 54:17, that no weapon from against will prosper. And then my beautiful, handsome son, Malcolm, the most handsome son in the history of the universe. College graduate, very smart, erudite, a good man. Malcolm said he helped me save trees. I used to always get newspapers and look up stats for a Big C Sports podcast. And one day Malcolm said, Dad, why don't you just Google it? And a light bulb went up. And now I'm on 29 podcast platforms. And then one day Malcolm said, Dad, you want to see Big C Sports on TV? I said, sure. He said, pick up the remote, aim it at the TV, and say, play Big C Sports. You'll see your show come up. That's before we went on the air. Now I stream on Xfinity, Comcast TV, Apple TV, Roku TV, and Amazon and Fire TV. Malcolm, always trust God. Always trust God. You can be anything you want to be. I love you with all my heart, my body, and soul. And then Big C, with all that wealth of knowledge over the years, always saying like my great granddaddy and his friends coming out of that barn, always saying you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe, saying let's get ready to rumble. Welcome to the show. SB nominated Big C Sports Podcast. I have no scripts, I have no three-way teleprompters, I have no producer in my ear. What I have is this gland in the brain. It's called the pineal gland. The ancients call it the third eye. They say that's how you talk to God. And that's how you don't get left out when their mama said it's time to eat, because you got to talk loud. She said it's time to eat. Let's eat. I really do love bringing Big C Sports Podcast to the universe. And I hope that you can enjoy it too. Well, as I always say on every Big C Sports Podcast, if you're going to drink, don't drive. If you're going to drive, don't drink, because mothers against drunk drivers are mad. And fathers against drunk drivers are mad. It's one of the easiest things not to do. You could call Uber, you could call Lyft, you could walk it off, you can sleep it off, but don't let someone you love start drinking and then get behind the wheel of a car and start driving. The life you say may be your own. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. Well, as I always tell you, my beautiful mother always says there's never ever an excuse for racism or domestic violence. No man, woman, or child should ever have to go through that crap on their own. If somebody's slapping you, pick up the phone, call 911. I only slapped you because it made me mad. If somebody's kicking you, I only kicked you because it made me mad. Call 911. If somebody's choking you out, I only choked you because it made me mad. Pick up the phone, call 911. There was another NBA basketball player that's accused of domestic violence today. Don't put up with that crap, ladies. Call 911. Anybody that loves you, they don't hurt you. They don't kick you. They don't beat you. They don't even cuss you out. Get away from that fool. Call 911 if that makes sense to you. Well, as I always say back in the day, there's a man known by the name of Drew Boudini Brown. He's known as Muhammad Ali's right-hand man. He would always tell Ali, you float like a butterfly and you sting like a bee. Rumble, young man, rumble. He said, with all you got to use, how can you lose? Ali said, I'm so pretty, I can't possibly be beaten. And every time I listen to Big C Sports, I want to chap at reparations now, reparations forever. And then I float like a butterfly and I sting like a bee. And there was no greater fighter than Muhammad Ali. You know what time it is. Backed by popular demand, the Big C Sports Reparations song. If you don't know about reparations, but now, if you don't know about reparations, you will never ever get your check. President Biden, you got to do the right thing. You got to sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. Say it like your heart, mind, body, and soul believes in it. Sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. Come on, say it like it's going to happen right now. You got to sign reparations now, sign reparations forever. I thank you, I appreciate you, and I hope that you have a super, fantastic day. Reparations now, reparations forever.